episode, and this episode is specifically for Agents War. And you have heard about agents, everybody is creating one as this market seems now. And we want to understand what makes the difference of a good agent and a bad agent. And today I have my special guest with me. We have Jen from Kip, I'm sorry. We have Jen from Kip and Tyagi from Capex and Prashant from Sferon. And we would be covering some part of what makes it great, what makes it usual, and what makes it ugly. Because there are so much influence under blanket of creating between different ecosystem for different chains and for also in terms of utility. So I think the best people would be in this room to tell about how to navigate those market, how to create one, and how to get started with them. Before we do that, Jen and Tyagi, I have given you guys a link, tz.spheron.network. So any one of you could share your screen right now. I would give you a code and we'll play a small game with you guys to get started. And once every audience join in, and this code is usable, this code has just not two whitelisting, but more than that. So if you're watching this is for you as well. So okay, we can see your screen now. You can
Okay, is this my
click.
screen?
Yeah, this is your
Yeah,
screen.
this is your screen.
Okay. Right, what do I need to do?
You need
Now
to click on get
Get
whitelisted.
whitelisted.
Okay.
I'm going to
sign
give you
in.
a code.
Hope
Yeah.
it works. Server doesn't goes down. That's the toughest thing which I
Play.
always. So it's like always my heart beats are like beating harder than it. Okay, yeah,
Oh,
it's
right.
okay. No, you have to
Yeah.
just click on
Now
invited.
I'm giving you a code.
Oh, the code is in the chat.
Yeah, in this stream chat.
Oh, okay. 1 second. Oh.
So it is a community code or it's my member code?
It's a member code. Click on
Wait,
invited by.
Which chat? I can't see it. Help.
It's here.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
This
got it.
stream, yeah.
Okay. So I do invited by a member.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a community code. That's why.
Community code.
Oh, okay. Community. Sorry.
Oh my God! See, code is not for referral. Come on,
Wait.
Prakash. You should.
Wait. No.
You should test codes before even. But anyways, you can skip for now. There's a okay.
Okay.
Will the whitelisted
This
people
could be me. This is my
yeah.
experience
Yeah.
with AdWords.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, this is you.
Claim my 100 points. Yeah.
Okay, claim my 100 points. I do that. Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So you will receive anyways in your email. You can skip this for now. I think we are. So this is okay. So now we are here. There is a spin wheel somewhere down there. Go down. We just
We'll
want
try
to
one more time.
What?
Like-
Yeah. This is.
I see.
Yeah. Click on this spin wheel. I want to see what you get.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Okay.
Damn, that's the lowest.
That's the yeah.
It can't go lower than this then.
Rugged.
Yeah. But thank you, Jen, for playing this one.
Yeah, 250 points for Jen. And
This proves it isn't a scam.
yeah, I mean, yeah, anybody who's asking from us community, see guys, we're as transparent as it could be. Even our esteemed guests are getting like 250 points. So
you spin it. I think
This
I
gives
want to
us
see
plenty
what
left for the audience. So the audience will go in now and grab the 10K and the 20K.
Yeah. I want to see what Taggy gets after this, but
yeah, go ahead, Tyagi.
1 second.
Let's see.
What code do I put? Oh, I can skip, right? I can skip.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll give you separate code. This Spheron community code. But I just want to see. I'm just behind my team to like ensure that it spins properly. And
I got like 250 points, so yeah, it works pretty well.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Share your screen, Tyagi. Let us know.
Oh, I did without the share screen.
Okay, now
Oh,
you
you
can
still
show
got
us. He spinned it in secrecy. Oh shit! I don't want to show that I got
Wait.
that
Let
box.
me do that. You guys can see my screen? Okay.
I can't see it.
Yeah,
Oh, now it's okay. Yeah.
yeah, we can see it.
Let me spin.
This. One.
Oh shit! There was 100. Oh damn!
This is worse.
I thought this
worse,
can't
bro.
go lower. I thought 250 was the lowest.
Yeah, so did I, bro. Yeah.
Oh man. Like,
This is to showcase the truth and transparency of the spin wheel of Speron.
Oh
Yeah,
man. Oh man. Yeah.
but
Bro,
thank you so
at my
much for playing
expense.
this.
I suddenly feel extremely smug now. It's great.
Yeah, so we thought like, why can't we just make the things more fun? Like, because everyone was coming to us and saying like, oh, hey, you guys might be helping your partners, founders to like get more, like you can do that. Like, we can like, no, we'll do it on stream. Let's see how people are getting it. So that's good. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for spinning it up.
Now, all fun and games.
No worries.
Now, talking about games, right? Launching an AI agent. So it's something which has come up as one of the most picked up narrative recently. Like and I will tell you the reason why. Because Web 2 is also pretty much excited about this technology, and we see a lot of MCP and a good work in AI being there. But what do you think? What makes it to the tier list of your watch? Like, if I say that if Jen, Prashant, and Tyagi are listening to something or say like, okay, this looks good. This is just not a marketing play, and I feel that okay, this has good memory, this has good autonomy, or this has like reasoning tool use, anything which has been around that. What do you feel makes a AI agent a best like an S tier AI agent? It's open. So this is a pretty open space. I would not put the ball on anybody. Like, please answer me this. Want to keep it like pretty candid. So go ahead and answer it.
Yeah, for me, I'm a big fan of autonomy. So even if an agent isn't hyper sophisticated, if it's doing stuff alone, then that is cool. Even if it's just a game of life level cellular automaton kind of agent, then if it's doing stuff without human intervention, then it's fun to watch, no matter how badly it sucks. Like even if it sucks in interesting ways. So you still have something to look at. If it's, I mean, a lot of the stuff that we call agents now, we wouldn't even have called those agents back in the day. Sort of the OG AI guys. An agent was something that acted independently. If you hooked up, if you hooked up voice to OpenAI and said, "Oh, now I've got a trading agent," it's not really an agent. It's text to code basically. But yeah, so autonomy is my big answer for that one.
And do you think are there any agents which are like right
No,
now?
I have one interesting question here. I'm sorry to cut you off. Again, I always hijack Prakash in doing these things. He should not be the answer. Because you've just touched base on one thing.
Shadow moderator.
Not the shadow founder. So are you like when you say like I think you touched a very very nice point, like without human intervention. I think it's a very a lot of people don't understand this. So I would love to understand and take your POV on what you mean by without human intervention.
Yeah, I would say anything where the computer is making a decision based on inputs and producing an output by itself. That is autonomy, which is why I would include these sort of really basic, the very early equivalents of AI agents. I mean, cellular automata, that's borderline, but stuff like an L system, a string rewriting algorithm, where it checks out its environment and then responds to its environment in a programmatic way. That's not AI, but it is an agent. So yeah, I have a low bar for agent performance, but I stick to it religiously.
Amazing. Okay. So Tyagi, if you want to go ahead to add, and then I'll also love to add points.
I think Tyagi's stuck. Like
Oh, is he
look,
frozen?
looking in his
Yeah,
eyes, this is
he's frozen, and
he,
somebody should take a
I
he
spin.
can't use the
that's a
dancing.
background, guys.
It's like,
Okay, he's back. Yeah.
Yeah, he's using AI.
Tyagi, you're back.
We're
He was
literally
speaking to you.
from here to here, and then he's aging for like, okay, I'm not able to figure out where is Tyagi. So
My bad, my bad. Internet connection issues. Sorry, guys.
yeah, so we,
So
we, we we were just giving mic to you, Tyagi, around the same question.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think one point which Jen already touched on was the autonomy. I think autonomy is definitely something which makes these agents very powerful. I think that's what even, makes an agent is the ability to like, use the internet or use your system, or let's say even use your email autonomously to some degree. And then I think tool use. I think tool use is something which has been very prevalent in the last 3 to 4 months, which is the ability for these agents to um, use tools like Notion, and like you maybe when we're talking about DeFi, for them to access different wallets on different chains, to for them to be able to access these bridges, and for them to be able to do that autonomously. I think those two things go hand in hand to some degree, and I think those kind of make the agents very powerful. Yeah, that's at least what I think.
Amazing.
and like, do you think like right now we speak about agents? Like, do you use any agents which are day to day, which you feel are useful right now, or have you automated any of your stuff, which comes from like even in capex, I would say, or even in stationary to your personal things, like, and even Jen, like, I want to ask you guys, like, are there any agents which you're using right now in your day to day stuff, or you're not?
I won't say any Web3 agent as of now, but like we constantly, like there are a ton of stuff that we now have made it part of the workflow when it comes to design and coding. So almost everybody in the team is well versed with Cursor. Almost everyone uses tools like Kriya, Midjourney when it comes to designs. Even like, earlier it used to be like we have a couple of designers who have to ship designs, but now even marketing team does so much of designing on their own. At least the ones which are like low fidelity or like small throughput time, if we are looking for any of those things. And then um, personally, I have like played around with N8N to create some workflows for myself. Again, just mundane, monotonous tasks, which is like, replying to messages on Telegram or maybe just emails. But like a full-blown agent that I would give access to my device or like my email, that I haven't done so far. Yeah, that hasn't happened for me yet.
And may I know why you haven't done that? Because there are agents
I
which you can use.
Yeah, I mean, like I think one of the biggest things for me personally would be like that trust thing, that when it comes to like any part of my system, I still do not trust any third party for that matter. Like even not even like Chat GPT for that matter, for them to like get access to my email or my Notion docs, because again, like there's so much company work also which is happening there. And yeah, I think majorly it's that reason. But when it comes to using these tools, using Gen AI in general, or like making AI tools part of workflows, that we have been proactively trying to do.
Amazing. And I think there are a lot of follow-up questions I have for you guys while you were talking, and I was just putting it down. And it is going to be a very interesting one. Okay. But before I jump into those questions, I'd love to like put my views. How I think I 100% go with Tyagi on that perspective of security, where I don't trust agents to give them a lot of access of mine. And I also go with Jen in terms of the autonomy. And that's where the whole theory of Spheron, which we kind of laid out as a programmable compute, which I'll dig into later once we start scaling our own projects. But but the for me, I was like, I think just to touch base on your point, Tyagi, is like what I have done and what I personally believe is that open source and local agents are the agents which I'm going to use. Okay, when I say that, that basically means it just runs on my machine. I have bought 5 MacBooks, Mac M4 minis. Like I have M4 minis, I have multiple MacBooks. I am working to connect them together in an internet way, like on an internet, and trying to like access my data, deploying models into that, and then accessing it via using that. The reason I'm doing that is very simple. Again, as you have mentioned, the security concern is like we don't really know what they may write that your data is not getting used. But imagine how Google is able to train their models, like how Google is even able to do a lot of those things. When like did they ask like to even use our they claim that they haven't used the like data and whatever, but how in the world it can be possible that you don't use data but still your model is trained, right? I think Jen
Right.
can add more
Right.
value on those areas, but that's what my take is, and I just don't know if I'm pushing my data, I'm pushing in a black box, which that black box which I don't know what that black box is, because that black box is not even open source. I can't even see the code. Where are they screwing it up, right? So there are, and they are not giving me an option to run it locally. So I think that's where I kind of go very like I take a very broad approach. And for everyone here, what I have done, since coding is so easy to do, I went ahead and built my own bot which runs locally. And what it does, very simple thing, it scrapes my Twitter account and it basically helps me to understand what is happening on my Twitter. It's a small local AI agent which I keep on running in my background. Even some of my teammate has those because I have sold them. I was selling them, but they did not bought, so I just given them as a free, as a 1 year subscription. But but that's what my take is, right? And now coming back to the usage of agents, like are you using any, like am I using any one of them? As of now, answer is no. The same concern is that I just don't want, like one time I have given my email access to one of the companies in when I was in web 2, like in the web 2, and they claim that they will be looking in my email for finding my credit score and helping me to pay my, I know you which app I'm talking about. And you guys must be knowing it, or you must have been used it if you are in India. They told me that they will be using my email to just scan my credit profile. Like whenever I receive a state bank statement, they will just shoot me an email by stating that you're missing your payment or whatever. But what happened with that is like I started getting a lot of random emails. And how would anyone in the world would get my email if that email is so private and it is only given to a banking systems, right? So, and that's what I have kind of learned. Like whatever people are saying in this space, I have few emails which I have never shared to anyone. I just did it as a testing purpose to see what really happens. Okay. And you won't believe my email today is like it has around 80,000 and 100,000 emails which is sitting, and I don't know like from where those emails are even coming. Okay, so I think that's where the
Right.
security loopholes. Just imagine if your emails can compromise, then what happens to your entire
Fair
mind
enough.
which you're putting on an AI.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but following on you guys thing, I think you guys have put a very interesting things as a something which we can just overextend, and it is a point which I think a lot of people also trying to understand. And since we are in Web3, we always live in this isolation and a bubble of Web3, right? Where we think that Web3 is everything, but in reality that's not true. If you go to other world, there is other world all there where there are things which is happening which we are isolated to. So very simple question. Like I know you guys must be having Web2 folks of yours, and Jen, you also like you are academy. You have a academy background. Tyagi, you have a very good background on the on again on Dubai and all of these areas wherever you have lived and traveled. So want to take your POV on this. It's like why do Web2 folks are not entertaining Web3 AI?
Right. I think like okay, from my perspective, um, I think the answer is like very straightforward and simple, and it's like so Web3 AI has had like a bad rep, and that is basically because one of the biggest AI coins, like even now it would be like in top 5 at one point, was one of the number 1 AI coins, and it was called Fartcoin. And when you go to people in SF and you talk to them about like, I'm working in AIX crypto, and then like, we're building the the next biggest decentralization protocol, and we're gonna like revolutionize the AI space. And you give them the idea, and they're like, okay, this was already in SF 2 years back. What you're building right now. First, second, you like we have been like slogging a lot, and our product is out there. We have 10,000 customers. You have a Twitter account and a Discord, and you're already raising money at 50 mil. So it all boils down to that the seriousness of the industry is not there, because to some degree it has been like diluted with all the speculation. And because of that speculative aspect, it's difficult for web 2 folks who, let's say, have been in the AI space for 5 years to take this very seriously. Although, of course, like not like there's so many people who are genuinely building some real tech with some real value, which actually works, which is like even will probably find some sort of PMF in the next few months or years. But it's difficult for them, I think, because of these 2 points, that the speculation kind of just dulls down the whole tech aspect of it. And then of course things like fartcoin and all of these like gimmicks with no real tech, and maybe just a Twitter bot, when they are at like 500 mil FDV, then it's just like it's difficult for like the web2 AI folks to take this space seriously. They're like, okay. And then of course there are some people who are not looking into on-chain verifiability when it comes to AI agents and decentralized AI compute. I mean, like these are areas which are genuinely serious.
But how does a founder manage? Like, I
They
want
are
to
also
ask
like
you
a lot of
guys as well. I
yeah.
want to ask you guys, like, how do you guys manage this? Like, in terms of, like, this is for 3 of you are founders in this space, and how do you manage of the reluctancy and the volatility of crypto? And then you have to create the seriousness towards actual AI segment. Like, what's your middle ground in this? Like, do we really get onto the shroud of like becoming a complete project which shows you, okay, yeah, here are our tokens, these are some memes, have fun, and juggle between them, and then cater to actual AI customers which are actually looking for scale and substitute to different services. So what's the middle ground when you guys are doing that? Because that comes as an eventual next question to that. You can feel free to answer question number 1 before Jen, but that's like my POV of how you guys are handling that.
Yeah, but I'd love to hear the first question first, Jen, from you, because that's quite like from your point of view. Because I have been like knowing you and been like have been at multiple chats with you. I really admire your thoughts around the academic side. So I'd love to kind of
Yeah,
learn more.
I think it's there is an issue with the sort of the fundamental unseriousness of Web3, which I don't think is a bad thing overall. I think yeah, it's if Fartcoin gets some kid in the middle of nowhere in Nigeria generational wealth, then good for him and good for Fartcoin. It's not necessarily what A16Z wants, but it's its own thing, and I'm happy for it to go on being its own thing. I think where the kind of the key value add in is in the AI/crypto space. It is in AI applications that might be banned by governments, essentially. In this sort of gray area between what is legal and what is illegal, because we have developers who are in China or in Hong Kong that can't get access to core models that they actually need to do their jobs. And I think people have been kind of very quietly building really good stuff, and not necessarily the people you think. So Open Router, they accept payments in crypto, and they're not a Web3 company, but I've paid for inference in crypto using Open Router, for example. And they didn't make they didn't make a big deal of we are Web3, but they are using it, which is kind of, for me, the best sign that this is a legit use case here. The fact that people are just doing it, they're not trying to raise KOL rounds saying we're going to solve the internet or whatever. So yeah, I think there is a solid use case for this. I think there's a lot of bullshit around, And the problem is that VCs, they're not necessarily, not all of them aren't necessarily the smartest guys on the planet, and they tend to outsource their trust to other people. So they have this whole circle jerk of, oh, did you invest in this thing? Oh, well, I'm going to invest in this thing too as well. They don't
Right.
necessarily go into the and actually look and say, okay, does this have a real use case, and does this guy's business plan make sense? It's all A16Z is investing. We have to get it.
That's true, and this is what I was driving. I don't.
This is definitely my strategy.
Yeah. So while you guys were speaking, I was just like putting my head around, and this is I draw. I'll tell you what basically it means. So on the horizontal x-axis you have skills, on the vertical axis you have money. In Web 2, skills are like you acquire skills, and at a certain period of time, let's say 5 years, 6 years, 10 years down the line, you start making good amount of money in your journey. In Web 3, it is quite opposite, right? You don't acquire skills, but you acquire a lot of money. Now,
That's like OnlyFans.
yeah, only fans, but not only fans. But again, I might be very very like bold on saying these things because I might feel like there are a lot of people who might also feel bad when I show this because a lot of people don't even have skills, but they what they learned is that. But if you look at it a very right side as well of everything in Web 2, what people have learned is that you have to have 10 different degrees, one different this, I have to go that, I have to go do this, and then you will able to make that money, right? And at least in countries like India, where some of the universities, we are not from some of those universities, honestly speaking, because I have faced it, you can't even make it to the right industry. You cannot even, lot of people in India, a lot of students in India, a lot of people around the globe, around the world, if they're not from the Ivy leagues or Ivy teams or Ivy colleges or Ivy schools, I don't know like what it really means now in the world of AI. But earlier, if you are not from those areas, then your chances of success were like very, very low, right? So you had to start from either working as an associate or junior or like, and then you climb your ladder, you go to, you like, for me to achieve a certain level, even whatever skill set you have, it will just take 5 to 6 years no matter what I do, right? And then what happens after that? Again, then bureaucracy, then all of those things which comes into the picture as you kind of go higher in your ladder, which really creates a problem for anyone who is skilled enough to earn, and it just increases timeline of printing more money, right, for yourself. Or again, it's a good, and also it's bad. Good because you are not just getting money because you just haven't learned anything. You learned things, and then eventually you got rewarded for that. But on the other side, how long will it take to get rewarded? That becomes a very very like a big question mark, because a lot of people may just lose the hope. While in Web 3, it is quite opposite. I love the concept where you hone a very specific set of skills, even it is a scamming skill, right? Even it is a skill of like
Yeah.
building something which is
Just don't go
gaming,
to jail.
or just don't go to jail kind of a skill, right? And I'm just, but there are amazing folks I have met in Web 3 who are not from these amazing universities or colleges, because for me, people like me, I love playing games during my college and school days. I enjoyed my that part of life. The only thing which I haven't done was study. I did it after I did it after I kind of like gone to the real world and realized that okay, this world doesn't work the way I was thinking. But just imagine, like people like me might be there in the world out there, and they might be having the skills, but they are not able to capitalize because they are tied to this system, which makes them labor class, and they are forced to go and work 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours a day, just even to like meet their needs. And that's where I love Web3. Okay, the time of acquisition of the skills and the money is quite good. You have expertise at one sector, you can shine here. And the borderless money, which you have just spoken now, like you can go and pay in crypto and whatever, and you want to hire somebody, you can just do that. It's insane. So I think that's where That's where I kind of like come in more perspective, and the same is applicable to Web 2 folks. Like I met a couple of Web 2 folks. They were like, they're not entitled to us in terms of the tech, because anyways the techs are open source. People can use it anywhere. Anyways, we are using their tech also. They are entitled because a lot of people in Web 3 are able to make more money than them in a shorter span of time. Like they have to wait for exit, like they have to wait for somebody will acquire them, but suddenly they will find one other guy who is just near to them and he was building in Web3. Suddenly he is like, he has more money to live in New York versus him, right, or her. So I think that's where the game starts changing, and that's where I see like there's a and I always urge this to entire Web2 friends of mine, is that respect the technology along with what it brings on. Like sooner or later it will also become the same place. Web3 will become the same place. Already it started becoming. Now what you will notice is that there's the same things coming back to Web3 now, which was in Web2. So it's a high time for us to like take it, give it back to the community wholly, so that they define who they want to work with.
Yeah, there's a great analogy that this guy he's actually a kind of an influencer in very sensible DeFi projects. He brought this up in a group chat that I'm in, and I think about it all the time. He says the current Web3 market is basically what you would get if every single juggalo suddenly got gifted a check for $50 million. And they're still juggalos, except next time you go to the gathering of the juggalos, it's full of Boston hedge funds and family offices and people who are showing up in suits saying, hello, fellow clowns. I used to be a VP at Morgan Stanley, but now I like huffing glue and face tattoos. And that is the ethos you get. And I think, yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah. So after this, we should write a book together.
In a market of clowns, yeah. But like, how do you guys maintain the seriousness of business as well? Like how, because you see that these people who we are in par with, like they are also let's say, like even in compute, even in marketplace, and even in inference and everywhere, they also are somewhat competitors in this space. And where they are catering to more serious audience with however capital, and with our set of capital which we have acquired, we have to maintain this web3 side, and then we have to maintain this web2 side as well. So as founders, like what are the top challenges you face while doing that, and do you think that's a blocker into creating a serious end-to-end business, or do you think that really enables you to put out what you can? Because like if I say, like even in this stream, if it would have been a corporate stream, I could not have even said like 80% of these things would have I would not be here,
Even
honestly.
I would have been fired from my job immediately. Got from the stream, and then what happened? Like termination letter from my HR. Stating that how in the world you have used these words to these founders, and they are like,
But what do you feel about that, everyone?
Yeah, I mean, I think from our perspective, because we have a Web2 side of the business and a Web3 side, so we do these very sensible, dull, mostly B2G contracts, and then we also have the Web2 side of the business that is more fun and more freeform. And weirdly, the existence of the Web3 side of the business, it hasn't faced the government guys at all. They're just like, oh, well, it's just another business arm. They're used to dealing with these multinationals that make, nuclear missiles and pianos in the same factory or whatever. So that it doesn't freak them out at all. But the fact that we do have this, it kind of limits the extent of how crazy we can get in Web3. So it also limits the degree to which we can chase the sort of the 1000x there, and it forces us to act more sensible in the Web3 side of the business. But when we set out and we were thinking, do we separate these out into different entities or whatever, we really anticipated that Web3 could have an impact on the Web2 side of the business. And it hasn't. It's been the exact opposite. It's been Web2 has kind of circumscribed what we do in Web3. So I guess that kind of mirrors what we were talking about before. It's the same thing. it stops us from being a fart coin, basically, which is probably a good thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think
Amazing.
fart coin holders, if you're listening this, you should set up an open source fund and deploy people who are building into, like, sell your some fart coins and just deploy those fart coins into building some real shit out, or else whatever you are holding, it's all gonna go zero. If nobody builds it. That's a claim to, like,
We
that's
will
a
cut off
for-
this part
yeah.
and specifically cater to
Not
Partcon community.
financial advice.
Not
No, yeah.
financial advice.
Not a
Partcon
financial
community,
advice.
I'm building fart meter, by the way, if you guys want to fund that. So
Yeah, but Tyagi would love to learn your point also, like how you
Yeah.
guys are.
So yeah, no. So for us, I think we cater to, or at least like aim to, uh, like attract more degen audiences to our platform. So for us, it's again, like I think it's that sweet spot. It's that best of both worlds, where of course you have to have, you have to have proper tech, you have to onboard proper builders, you have to have documentation, and then tech support and dev support, and then help these builders and have community events with actual real builders and all those things. Like you have to take all those steps, but at the same time you have to do shit posting when you're on Twitter. You also have to, like, every now and then engage in absolute brain rot degen content, and just and I think that's, as Jen also said, like that's not necessarily a bad thing. So yeah, I mean, like I think that's also part of our culture now, that we kind of have accepted, and we kind of embrace the fact that okay, this is what the industry is. Like where Mark Anderson will just come in and, like, fund a random Twitter AI bot, and then it names itself AI16Z, and the industry just accepts it with open arms and doesn't really care if it's investing in shitcoins. So I think that's also like the beauty of it, but at the same time, it's like you have to take it with a pinch of salt. I guess at the end of the day, so that also kind of feeds into our own momentum. Like even if you are a serious project, you indulge in these things because it kind of gets you mind share. It kind of gets you to your users, and your users are the people who want to make money but also want to have fun, but also want to, like, know that you're not gonna like run away with their money. So it's kind of like yeah, best of both worlds, kind of that sweet spot that you have to find as a project, as a founder. And yeah, that's pretty much what I think, what my 2 cents would be.
Amazing. So I'd also love to, because you guys have spoken something, and I just want to summarize it with few things. Um, I think what Web3 needs is to fund amazing projects out there, helping builders to build some more Web3 native techs. When I say that, that basically means that today, if you look at the reason Web2 shines, is because everything from programming language, apart from Solidity, I don't think Web3 has given us anything around the programming languages, right? On the foundational side. Then apart from Solidity, if you now look at the AI side, right? A lot of people use LangChain, different models, different things, different programming languages or adapters or libraries. They all are built in Web3, right? Very rarely you will find these adapters or these. And the reason I'm saying this is because these are fundamental of building anything, right? You have to have these things to even imagine a developer to build on top of you, right? So what happens in such cases that we don't even have fundamental stuff in Web3. Everyone is just doing a copy pasting here and there and just trying to just use as it is. But what they're not realizing is you are not creating a market. You are just consuming. They are getting consumed into that market. And that's where I kind of the reason I kind of loved initially EVM is because it was fundamentally different from Web2, right? If you look at the EVM as such, and that's where I kind of like realized over the years that Web3 has this problem of like just doing the copy pasting or just doing, even if you want to utilize it, it has to be more robust and permissionless version of it. It should not be the permission version of the same. For example, while we were designing Spheron, a lot of time I also received this question, like the same Spheron is also available in Web2 world. I tell them one thing is like, just show me one company which does what Spheron does. In Web2 world, there is a very high level differences. Yes, we use Docker, we use container systems, we use all of those things, but the entire clustering mechanism is our IP. The entire way the systems connects to each other, it's our IP. Nobody has it. So that's how we have kind of like built it. So I think that's where the first thing which I kind of look at is like, as Web3, like as a community powered, we all should invest more heavily into teams who are building amazing and doing amazing stuff out there, no matter what. But what I have seen is opposite quite, because some of these teams, they just go in a token route and they don't understand what token really brings on the table. Token is a two-sided sword, like it's so like you do it, if it goes well, it's good. If it doesn't goes well, you can't come back, right? So there are a lot of ways token can goes very, very wrong, and people don't understand that. In a lot of builders, they come in, they just launch a token and think that with that money they will be able to fund the stuff, but in reality they end up in loop of like pumping their token, and they stop building anything. And I think that's what has to be avoided. Build the product first, do the token next. And this is what we have been like at, even at Spheron, we have been quite vocal about this. And I think most of you guys, we have been working with you, and I've seen you guys are also doing the same thing. Amazing effort, again, on those angles. And I think that's the second point which I just wanted to like point out. And third is like, I think the reason, like, everyone should come, and even from Web2 folks, like whosoever is hearing this, the reason you should come and build here, or the reason you should go and use any Web3 product out there, is very simple. You just don't use it, you also own it. There is a massive difference of making this statement, right? So in one place where you are just being a user, you're a normal user, you'll be like, you're done. Like, when you pay them, it's your job is done. They are no longer liable to you in any format, any ways possible. But here in Web3, it's completely different. You cannot just be a user. You can also become the part of owner. When I say that basically means like you are also owning part of a network, and while you are using it. I think that's a biggest win which any Web3 company can catalyze it to drive more adoption. And we are also seeing it happening at Spheron. I think a lot of you also are doing it quite amazing job. So I'd love to see that happening more and more. But yeah, these are my few cents around the question which you asked.
So we didn't realize that we hit the 42-minute mark right now.
Oh, is
So
it?
there are few things I'm gonna ask in the end. This is gonna be pretty quick around. This is gonna be a one-word answer you have to give to these questions. So if I am a young builder and I'm into getting started of creating an AI agent or a framework or whatever, what is one thing you would suggest to me as a framework, as a tool, as a utility, as autonomous? What would you suggest me, Jen?
Obviously, join the Superior Agent summer residency, which is coming up. That is
Amazing.
that is
Just self-shill. This was a self-shill, guys.
Yeah. We'll also be there, by the way.
Very subtle.
Yeah, and Spheron is going to be helping to judge. So yeah,
Thank you so much. Counter ecosystem shell. But I want you to be like really honest, like complete honesty on terms of tech.
Aside from that, I would say the next big thing is definitely going to be reinforcement learning. I mean, it's already here, but it's going to get bigger. So yeah, look into that.
Amazing.
Agents with reinforcement learning, which we're building, but Google just got into it, and it's definitely coming. It's the coming thing.
Prashant, what's your take on that one thing?
I want to hear Tyagi first, and then I'll come.
Yeah, and I think if anybody is building out there, and I will just say from my own experience, because like, a year back I was dabbling with all these different frameworks, mostly Web2, not really Web3 AI agent frameworks. So I would just say that go for Llama Index. It's one of the cleanest, one of the best frameworks to build AI agents out there. Specifically, if you're starting small and you're not building anything too complicated, they also have like something called Llama agents if you want to do like multi-agent. But
Yeah.
yeah, but they have like very clean documentation. Their GitHub is very much understandable. Your code won't break. They also provide decent support if you're like a beginner. So yeah, like it's a very good place to start off if you're like just entering the space. Also, you'll easily be able to find some tutorials around how to build those things as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, for me, I'll go very basic. Don't learn AI agents. Learn how to code because these agents are still not not good in coding. So they do code, but they just like shit it up. Like you can't even deploy those things in production. So what you have to do is one thing. If you want to take it, just learn the code. Just learn the fundamental, because the anything whatever is going to come down the line, they won't be having a lot of fundamental thing. And again, these are always remember, these are question based answers. So people who ask the very good questions to these things, then only they'll be able to get to those answers. What if they are not even asking the right
Fair enough.
questions? And that's where they will always end up in the wrong answers. So you are going to be the guy who will only understand what is the right question you should ask to AI. And if you don't have fundamental knowledge, you'll end up in not asking the right questions. So grab as much fundamental, strong your fundamental knowledge as much as possible. What Jen has also told is like around reinforcement learning, and go into those reinforcement learning journey and then learn fundamental. What Tyagi has just told, amazing. This again, once you learn all of these things, go and use Llama Index and build your own agents much more faster way. So, but before we even, I'll take 4 minutes, because this is the question which I just wanted to kind of learn again from you guys in terms of adoption and ecosystem side. Okay, very very quick one, and you guys can just jump into and tell me like what are your thoughts. If you look at the Web3 as an adoption, like on the very high level, we haven't, and we have just discussed many things. If you have to build one thing today for yourself, what would you build?
Just
That's a
for
good
agents,
question.
or yeah. So we have a secret skunkworks project that I am actually working on right now, which is a totally autonomous agent that tries to break out of the container that it's in. And every time it spams attempts, and every time one succeeds, it saves the successful attempt, and then after a while it retrains itself and gets better at breaking out over time. So
We should integrate it in Visperon's compute.
yeah.
We
So that is what I've been putting kind of all my effort in for 5 years. Every spare second I've got has gone into this. And it was the genesis of the Superior Agents project, but now we're doing a separate raise, and we're hopefully going to integrate it with diffusion models and do no prop and continuous retraining. And yeah, that's what we're working.
Amazing. How about you, Tyagi?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give the answer from a little bit of a different angle. I'll say it like personally. I've always like sucked at reading books. If I was to build something for myself, I would love to build something, or maybe even if there's something which actually exists out there, although I've downloaded like 5 different apps to help me do this, to read books, to maybe give me summaries, have some sort of a conversation with like ebooks, things like that. Because yeah, I mean, like it's just kind of like I'm not like a sit down and like put my head down and like read for 30-minute kind of a person, but I would love to have like build some sort of an agent, or like whatever we want to call it, which can just help me summarize books and give me like key takeaways that I can have a conversation with and stuff like that. Yeah.
Amazing. So guys, anyone who is building this, you have one customer with us.
I am also building one thing. I'm going to shill that as well. I'm building adult relationship friend tracker. So it's you don't know that how many friends you have and you forget to call them. So this agent tells you whoever you call in 2 weeks span time, and whose birthday is coming up and whose anniversary is coming up, and last thing you said to them and something you want to remember about them. So if somebody's I'm gonna sell it to my team first.
Automate the gifting process.
Yeah.
So-
Also, like, change the name, bro. The name is very misleading.
Oh,
As soon as you said adult relationship, I was like, okay, what is this like OnlyFans network effects coming in?
why so much hate on OnlyFans? That's a good piece of technology, I feel
Oh,
like.
it's making a lot of money. So yeah, great for the
Yeah.
founder who came up.
Everybody's on co-op with that. So yeah. But it was
Yeah.
nice having everybody on this. This was a pretty fun stream, honestly. And thank you so much, guys, for giving answers which were true to the audience in terms of viability, what they need to do. And Prashant, thank you for asking questions which are actually in this segment, which would take a direction that could lead someone to watch this and scale onto these decisions. So thank you so much, Jen. Thank you so much, Prashant. Thank you so much.
Bro, we haven't asked them to shield their projects, so let's
Yeah,
not. do
I'm
Yeah,
coming to
yeah.
that. So it's over to you guys to
I
tell
also
about.
have to shield. So
Yeah.
Oh,
So
you
Don't-
want to go
don't-
first?
don't say thank you. So let's get into it. Yeah, Jen, you can go.
Oh,
ahead.
okay. I'll jump in then. So yeah, Kip is building superior agents which are autonomous and they will trade for you. They're no longer as inclined to buy honeypot tokens as they were, so we're constantly improving, or they're constantly improving because they learn themselves. It's currently, you just message me, you can get an access code, you can set up your own, and it'll be your little trading Tamagotchi and explain its strategies and then buy coins and hopefully make a profit. The best one we've got running so far is about 42% profit after a month, so it's doing quite well. Yeah, so follow at Superior Agents on Twitter and send me a message if you want a code to start your own.
Amazing.
I can.
Yeah, those
I'll
profits
do it.
got us thinking.
Yeah. Yes, Jaggi. You want to go?
Yeah. So So I'm first of all Tyagi, co-founder Capex. We are building an Ethereum layer 2 for anyone out there to be able to build, own, and trade their own AI agents. It's basically going to be a mix of AI agent marketplace and an AI agent launchpad, where builders will be able to essentially list their AI agents. They'll be able to launch their AI agent tokens, and from a community perspective, you get like one space for any of the emerging AI, any sort of an AI agent or an app in this space. You get access to it. You also get to be like early in the space and be able to be an early investor in any of these AI agent projects out there. So yeah, that's what you're building.
Amazing, man. I think it sounds more of a like I just few days back I was just thinking what Capex is. So I kind of like came with one thing. It's like, have you guys seen Gumroad?
Yeah,
Gumroad for
yeah,
AI
yeah,
agent?
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great one-liner. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I kind of like I landed up into that theory, and I thought I'll ping you guys, but I'm just telling it here. I
He
think that's
saved it for the stream. He saved it for the stream.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring him to the stream and tell that.
Yeah. But yeah, coming back to Spheron side again, because we are building the world's largest community power data center, and what we believe in is that compute is the key of anything whatever we are building, and compute should not be restricted in one region and it should not be given to people on the basis of where they are. It should be given to anyone permissionlessly out there in the market in a more decentralized way. And that's where Spheron comes into the picture. It allows you to buy, sell, do whatever you want to do. We don't care. We have built the tech. You go attach your compute and start selling to somebody else. We don't care. We have given you a tech in a purely decentralized manner. Go ahead and connect your machines. If you are a gamer, if you are anyone who has any kind of compute capacity with you and you think that can use or that can help any other AI developer out there in the world to leverage it for building something good for anyone, so please go ahead and connect. So yeah, that's what we are doing at Spheron.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for this. Very amazing to have you guys all over. And one last comment I want to address. Are you Indian? Yes, guys, we are pretty much Indian. Even
I'm Indian. Yeah.
yeah, Jen has also accepted to be Indian on the stream. So yes, we are.
Yeah.
What do you think? So thank you so much for watching this, guys. Have a good one.